Hi, welcome to Stories from Everywhere. My guest today is Patti DeHoff, author of Picture this little book here, beautiful book full of photos. And Patti is also a business consultant and has a background in accounting. Hi, Patti.
Hi, Jill. How are you?
I'm
Good to
good.
talk to you.
So tell me a little bit about this book that you came up with that's photos of hearts, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
they're found hearts.
Yes.
So what exactly does that mean?
Um, I just kind of randomly happen upon them. It's nothing that I purposely try to create, but when I see them, I try and get a picture of them as best I can. Sometimes that works. Sometimes I have to play around with my perspective, shifting around a little bit, or change the lighting a little bit around there, or change the lighting once I get a picture so that you can actually see the heart I took. But these are just things that are in nature. It could be while I'm cooking dinner. It could be a walk somewhere. It could be a piece of trash on the ground sometimes, but it's just a random heart shape that I find.
Okay. And when did you start finding hearts?
The first one that I took a picture of was back in probably 2011, 2010 or 2011. I had been traveling and I got back from work one night and I went into the hotel room and there was a heart above the bed with the lights that were like the reading lamps on the side of the bed
Mhm.
somehow had been tilted up and they were making a heart shape on the ceiling, which I thought was very strange, but kind of funny. So I
Yeah.
took the picture and I didn't think anything more of it. But then several months later, same sort of thing happened. And I thought, that's weird, but okay. And I started noticing I was seeing hearts more often. And so I started taking the pictures then.
And because you were seeing hearts more often, did it make you feel more happiness or joy or more love in your life or
Yes, all of the above.
all of the
Um,
above?
all of the
Yeah.
above. Mainly it was, every time it happened, because it came out of the blue, it was a little surprise, a little jolt of joy, and awe, kind of like, how did that happen? Or isn't that cool? Um, and it happened all the time that I get that kind of feeling, that kind of response. Sometimes I might think that the heart was a little hello from somebody, right? If I'd been thinking about that person and then all of a sudden I saw the heart. Sometimes it was on a day when everything was going great and it was like, yep, yep, that makes sense. I'm seeing hearts now. But sometimes it happened on days when things weren't going well at all, right? And lots of things were going wrong. But then I'd get a little heart and it would stop me in my tracks almost. And just kind of be like, okay, things are okay. There's still some good around here. There's something good out there still. Um, so yeah, I wanted to share that kind of feeling that I kept getting whenever I saw the hearts.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
did the first couple hearts you got, if you took pictures of them, did you send them to people or did you just keep them to yourself and kind of hoard the hearts for a little while and be like, look,
Well, I
I'm getting
didn't think of
hearts.
it as hoarding, but I did keep them to myself because I kind of thought people are going to think I'm crazy if I'm telling them I'm seeing hearts all over the place.
Oh,
Um,
so let's talk about that for a second because
mhm.
you weren't in a profession or you're not trained in like a woo woo kind of profession, right? It's not
Right.
not
No, my
not like
degree is accounting.
yeah.
um, I had been doing auditing and financial analysis, financial system implementations, process improvement, all kinds of things where I was very analytical.
And not things that feel like a lot of love.
Right. Not always, right? um, so yeah, so to then take those to the people I worked with or something and be like, guess what I saw at lunch? I thought they'd think I was crazy. Um, so I just kept them, but I kept taking the pictures anyway and kept them on my phone and wondered what I should do about it. And then, eventually I had so many of them. I'm like, I really should do something about this. But
Okay. And then when did you get the idea for the to put them in a book? Or where did that
um,
idea come from?
it was several years later. I would say it was 2018, 2019, where I started to really think, I've got a lot of these pictures. What should I do with them? And I kept thinking I would like to share that feeling, that joy that I was feeling. Um, but I didn't know the best way to do that because I've never written a book. I had not been aspiring to be an author or anything like that. I am not a professional photographer. I take a lot of pictures. I always have with my family or on trips or something like that. But, I've never been a real camera buff and, playing with shutter speeds and things like that. So I didn't have really a good background of what to do with this. I'm not crazy active on social media either. So I was like, that would be a good way to share them, but I don't really know how to do that either. So I kept thinking about it a little bit here and there. And then probably 2019, I really started trying to compile them a little bit more. When I was in between other projects, I would spend a little bit of time digging out the pictures on my phone and seeing which ones I liked or which ones would make a good subject for the book. And then, 2020 happened and the world kind of shut down for a little while. My consulting project stopped and I was home and I thought, okay, now I've got the time and no excuse for not working on this. And the world needs more love more than ever at this point. So let's try and work on it. So that's when I really started dedicating time to it.
Nice. Really nice. And since you did dedicate the time, right, and you ended up coming out with this book, and here we go. And then I know that we worked together a little bit on creating a website that now isn't up, but the website it now redirects to your Instagram account, which you had also set up.
Yeah.
So why a book? I mean, we talked about you could have done this in a number of different ways, right? But why a book per se? Like, it's adorable, the book, right? It's a cute size, it's a nice gift book size.
That's exactly what I thought. I had always been the kind of person that liked little gift books. I got them from my mom or my friend or my sisters, I gave them to the same kinds of people, right? But I bought them for myself sometimes, just little inspirational or motivational things. So I was drawn to that kind of book anyway. And I decided on a book more than just social media because I wanted to be something people could keep and look back at. And social media just feels too transient, I guess, right? I mean, stuff stays out there forever in some ways, but it's
a lot to wade through, right? If you're looking for something
a book is something tangible that you can go back and flip through and look at. And I really did see it as a gift that could be to cheer somebody up if they're feeling down, if they're sick, if they're in a hospital or recovering from anything. It could be a thinking of you or I love you kind of book. It's not romance. It's not parent child. It's all of any kind of love, really. And it's just, like I said, hearts and the joyful feeling you get when you see them. So, yeah.
And I will say none of the things, the photos that are heart shaped in there are contrived, right? It's not like you're like, hey, here's chords to like these kind of chords and you're putting them in a heart and taking a picture of it.
Right. I didn't purposely create the hearts, but I would stop and grab a picture when I found them. So just like a chord, there might be one in the book, but I know I put them out on social media. I'd be vacuuming and the vacuum cord got tangled up and looked like a heart. And I was like, okay, well, I hate cleaning, but at least I got a heart out of it, so, but yeah, none of the hearts in there are actually purposely shaped, cut into the shape of a heart. I just found them and they're not perfect either. Some of them are long and a tall kind of skinny heart and some are wide on one side and less on the other side. They're not perfect, but that's part of the charm, I think. So
yeah, well, and none of us are either, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I know I've sent you hearts. Like we have a lemon tree and a lime tree in our house or in our yard, and our lemon tree grows the wonkiest. I mean, big lemons, but they come out in all different shapes. And I know I sent you one recently. Yeah, that was a big heart. And
yeah, it was awesome. That one still needs to get posted, but it will.
Okay. And so people that find hearts can send them to you. They can send them to the Instagram, which is Heartwarming Sight.
Mhm,
SITE at the end of
mhm,
heartwarming, all one word,
mhm.
right? And so do you get people sending you hearts now that you're kind of the heart lady?
I do. I don't think I've gotten them from strangers yet.
Okay.
But, family members and friends definitely
Mhm.
will, either send them to me. They probably send them more to me through, a text message or an
Mhm.
email or something. But yeah, anybody can send them to me. Just, contact me through the heartwarming site, Instagram site.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they're probably also, like, buying you the sweater you have on and,
Yes. Yes.
although
Especially.
anything they see that has hearts on it now is associated with Patty, whether you want it to be or not, right?
No, I love hearts. So, I do have a lot of things added to my heart collection in the last couple of years, but that's all right. That's all cheerful stuff. So
Well, what's the most unexpected place you've ever found a heart?
ah, I don't even know if I could answer that. I saw one of my favorite ones was when I was flying and we were coming into land, and this was in Mexico, and I got a picture, and it's of a heart, but it's kind of partly the shoreline and partly the window of the plane that
Oh,
caused
neat.
the shape of the heart. But I had just been looking out the window as we were getting ready to land, right? And I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh my god." And I had to grab my phone really fast and try and get that because obviously we were gonna be
yeah.
moving enough that it would change quickly. So,
Well, and
um
I think that you have a story, I believe, that I heard, uh, that talked about you taking a photo somewhere overseas, and then in hindsight, when you're looking back through the photos, you were like, "Oh my gosh, there's a heart here that I didn't even see,"
yes,
right?
that has happened a few different times. I I don't know, a couple of years ago, I was digging through all kinds of old pictures, trying to look for something specific for, a request that I'd had or an anniversary that was coming up that I wanted to send some pictures to people. And I was digging through all kinds of pictures, and I found some from when I was in Antarctica in 2008. And I hadn't even seen the first heart that I consciously took a picture of until, like I said, 2011 or so. But when I was looking at these pictures from Antarctica, there were hearts in the photos, whether it was like moss in the middle of the ice or something in a cloud or
Yeah.
and I was floored. And that happened a couple of times. There were some with Antarctica. I think there was one in Canada. The same thing happened, and I was just like, these pictures were taken years before I was ever really considering this idea that I could see hearts, much less that I was going to do something about them. And
Well,
yeah,
and what a nice reminder as you go back, like, "I really loved this trip, and look,
yep,
there's even, like, this conscious/subconscious reminder,"
yes,
right,
yes.
that's in
And those are the
there
most awesome in
that
a
I
way
wasn't
because
expecting. Yeah,
it's so unexpected.
yeah, and it's very different than, like, I got married in Tahiti, and we were walking in Bora Bora where we went for our honeymoon past some person's front lawn, and they had cut the front lawn into a heart
Right,
where that was, clearly very intentional on their part. It was a surprise to us that we found
right,
that was amazing, but, it's also the honeymoon island, so you gotta
right. You're
figure
gonna see some hearts
that.
there.
Yeah. But yeah, so but this is just like you're out in nature and there's moss and ice and it happens to be heart shaped or whatever.
Yes.
It's not,
Yeah.
it's God or the universe or whatever you believe in providing it for you if you're just paying attention, basically,
Yes.
or even if you're not paying attention and you're still finding it.
Yep. I think the more you kind of intentionally look for them, I think you'll see more hearts. But I don't think that you even have to be intentional about it. Just a little bit open to the idea of it, you'll probably start seeing them. And then I
Yeah,
think, the more you see them, the more you will see them. And other people, that's not just me saying that, other
yeah.
people who have since seen the book and gotten the book or, heard about this, they start telling me that, oh, I could never see them. How do you see that? You're so lucky. They just follow you or something. And then they start seeing them and sending them to me. And they say, I'm seeing them all the time now too. So,
Yeah, I second that actually, because since our previous conversation that we had a few weeks ago, I've started seeing them almost every day and sometimes multiple times a day. And in the strangest places, it'll be like an oil stain or There was my favorite one, well, favorite kind of a loose term for it, but the one that made me laugh the most was we were walking the dogs on an afternoon and there was bird poop on the street that was literally the white bird poop was in the shape of a heart. And I was just like, are you kidding?
Yeah, I don't always want to take pictures of those, but
Well, I just
but
find it's fascinating, right?
it
It can
is.
be from
Yeah.
the grossest thing, and there it is.
Yep.
And
There's good in everything.
yeah, that's true. So, what do you hope that people get out of either looking at your Instagram site or buying the book? Where can they buy the book, by the way? This
Um,
little book right here, you can buy.
yeah, right now, excuse me. Since the website's taken down, it would really be contacting me through the Instagram site,
Okay.
and then I would, you know, reach out and figure out how to get it to them. Um, there are a couple of little gift shops around my house. I live in the Chicago area, so there's one or two gift shops still selling the book there. But generally it'll be through Instagram. And what I hope that people take from it, I guess, is I hope that they will start to see hearts. I hope they will start to feel that joy. And as I said earlier, it can mean different things to different people. What you're seeing in that heart, or why you're seeing that heart. But it's almost guaranteed to give you a good feeling when you see a heart.
Yeah.
And so I want to have people experience that more. And some of the things that I've kind of learned from seeing the hearts and starting to look for them a little bit more is that really, if you open your mind, you will, if you put your mind to it, you will start to see hearts almost. But if you change your perspective a little bit, you will likely see things differently, because sometimes I'm looking way up high in the sky to see some little heart, and sometimes I'm seeing a giant cloud up in the sky, or sometimes I'm looking down while I'm walking and I see something, or sometimes I have to walk around a tree to see the branch a little bit differently,
Mhm.
and that shows the heart. So I think that kind of mentality is something we can take and apply a lot of other places, right? Slow down a little bit, look for things, look for the possibilities in things, and change your perspective a little bit.
Yeah, it's all about being mindful and open and
Yeah,
present in the moment that you're in,
right.
right? Yeah. And so, what do you have like a favorite quote or something that you think is associated
Um,
with love or hearts that you like? Or
there's so many quotes. I love quotes. I've collected them too. Um, I'll tell you one of my favorites, which isn't totally a heart, but it
Mhm.
is kind of keeping your mind open. It's just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a butterfly.
Yeah.
So I've always loved that, just the imagery of that, and the thought that things are horrible and they're never going to change, and then when it's darkest, it's going to get better. Um, but there's another quote from Julie Andrews that I really like too, and there's similar types of thoughts from a lot of people, I'm sure. But it was, leave every place you go, everything you touch, a little better for your having been there.
Nice.
And I just feel like if we all kind of thought that way more often, we'd all feel a little better in this world, right? It's
Yeah.
just, we'd treat each other better and we'd be happier, and who doesn't want that? So,
You'd have a little bit more love in the world and a little more
yes,
care.
yes,
Yeah. And I mean, that's 100% why we founded Let's Talk About Love, right?
yeah,
Was to get people talking about that and to bring more positivity and solutions and care into the world.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
And if you just, if you put that kind of love
Mhm.
into any effort you do, it's going to improve the situation, the people you interact with, or the ability of a team to work together, or there's just so many things that can. It sounds Pollyannish in some ways, but I really think it's as simple as that little bits of positivity um and love will start to add up and make a difference.
Oh, you had to throw the accounting in there, right? With the add up.
Totally unintended, but yep. It's
I
built
love it.
into my brain. I
Yes.
can't help that either.
Yeah. but it's true, right? A little
Mhm.
bit of that keeps adding up and cr- ends up with a sum that's way larger than the sum of or all of its little parts.
Right, right.
Yeah, and I
And that's
just
what I
find
hope
that
All About
that's
Love will
really
do.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, how much is your book? If
It
people want
is,
to know,
$14.99.
14.99. So,
Yep.
nice investment in this, and nice investment into a small business and a positive cause,
Thank you.
right? Of seeing. Are you planning on doing a second book? I'm sure you have plenty of photos.
I have lots more photos, taken since the book was published,
Mhm.
um, but still trying to decide if I ought to do another book or ought to do, something different on, a website or social media to share them more broadly. Because obviously social media can have a much bigger reach than a book that people might not know exists. Um, but so I still got to figure that out.
Start a heart channel on TikTok.
Maybe. But I
um,
have found there are other people on Instagram that I've seen who also take pictures of hearts and,
okay, they're
see them
collecting.
and things. So I know I'm not alone, first of all.
Yeah.
But
And have you friended them or followed
Mhm,
them and
mhm.
partnered with anybody
No
to
official
create?
partnerships yet, but
Okay.
definitely, following back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And encouraging each other and seeing what they're seeing. So,
Oh, we're headed into 2025, so it's a
yeah,
long time of taking photos of hearts for you, and you must have quite the vast collection.
it's in the
So,
thousands, I'm sure. Yeah. Because it will be sometimes, like you said, sometimes you see several a day even.
yeah.
It's not that you see them every single day, but um, it it builds up very quickly, I think, too.
And the response from your family and friends has been positive? Or
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be somebody like you are a little crazy, but um, but even they have started seeing the heart sometimes. And and everybody was charmed by the idea of it, even if they thought I was a little crazy. And I really do think, they're all excited about it being published, but they're also starting to see them, the hearts, and recognizing that it's not just me that has this gift.
Yeah.
So
So it's
they
a
do,
little domino effect.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
which is exactly what I would like to see, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's wonderful. Let's all spread a little more love around the
absolutely.
world. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add or that you'd like our
Just
viewers to know?
that I am so excited about Let's Talk About Love, and I see great things for it, and I know that you leading it will help ensure great things for it.
Oh,
But
thank you.
I'm really glad to be a part of it too, in whatever way I can. So
Thank you. Thank you
yeah,
very much. Yeah, we're partnering with artists and photographers and anybody who wants to jump on board our mission and be part of the movement of bringing more love into the world.
excellent,
Very
excellent.
excited about it.
It's a needed, a needed thing for sure.
It is, that's for sure. So thank you. Thank you so much for being on my show today.
Well, thank you for having me. All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye.